All right, I just got a new pen from Atomic Bear. I haven't even opened this up at all yet, kind of curious. Atomic Bear makes tactical pens of various stripes. Let's open it up. Yes, this is made in China, just like 99% of the other things you buy on Amazon. Don't lose your brain. All right, comes with a sticker, an owner's guide, congratulations, support, QR code for your lifetime warranty, how to set up the flashlight. I had some doubts with this, guys, and one of my big doubts was just the sheer number of features that this thing claims to have. So I'm curious. And one of my previous issues with tactical pens, maybe I should even take a step back. Guys, I'm big on tactical pens. Always have been, always will be. I mean, if you look, ooh, here's a minor selection of some others, including, by the way, 2 other Atomic Bear pens that I have previously, I think, reviewed, their Stealth and their Rebel. One of my big misgivings with tactical pens back in the day was that they all looked too overt. Like, really, at the end of the day, you're probably not fooling anybody when it comes to tactical pens, but at the same time, I just don't want it to be too scathingly obvious. And this might be more on the overt side of the fence. So I know to use the flashlight, I've got to take out a little paper disc or insulator. So let's do that real quick. Okay. So there's the insulator. Battery's already installed, it looks like. And we've got the on-off button here, so good. So we get on, strobe, and off. Those are your 3. I don't think it's going to be super bright. I'm worried that there's no lockout. I'm worried about that for starters, but we'll see what else we get. So there's your pen itself. One good thing I do like about this is the provision to screw the cap to the pen itself. Maybe that's not for that. Curious. Now I see what that's for. That's for the bottle opener. So you can reverse it and get to your screwdriver, your little wrench, your scraper, and your bottle opener. So my apologies, that definitely does not retain the cap. And it looks like there is a hidden compartment. So, like I said, my big misgiving with this is that it just does a lot. And so my general worry is, does it do too much? And you can order other stuff, I think, from the Atomic Bear website. You can get a fire starter, a knife, an emergency whistle. So that's the pen as it sits. Now, one of my big curiosities with this pen, before we even really start messing with the light, see how bright it is, the carbide tip, glass breaker, bottle opener, scraper, everything else, is it's a pen. So I already got one kind of ding on it because I wish there was some way to retain this cap. That would be nice for me. But let's see how it writes. Now, let me just even back up. Let me set all this aside. And it does come with refills, by the way, which is pretty cool. But my number one reason to have a writing utensil, I realize all the tactical features aside, is to write. So here, let me get a little notebook. When it comes to writing, just sheer writing, my current number one favorite is actually the Sharpie S gels. Apropos of nothing, but look, at the end of the day, no matter how tactical my pen is, it still needs to do pen stuff. And if you look at this bad boy, and here I'll even do some ASMR, I'll put the microphone beside it so you can hear how smoothly or not smoothly the pen writes. Here's the Sharpie. There's a little bit of scratch, but not bad. Now I'm a lefty, so I have to worry about smear. Sharpie doesn't do that. Reasonably smooth writing. In general, this is my go-to. There's more expensive pens out there, sure, but that's the Sharpie. Now, Let's see how the Atomic Bear does. I have no idea about the provenance of their refills, but all right, so here's the good news. This is writing more smoothly than my Sharpie. I do like that. It's not quite as bold in terms of line, no skips, no smears. So overall, I got to give it pretty high marks for its general writing ability. The fact that it comes with 2 refills, also awesome. Let me get my mic back up on my shirt. I don't hate this pen, but I don't think I like it as much as some of the others. Now, I will say this, for something that's got a flashlight in it, it is probably more inexpensive than some other flashlight pens that I have used, to include the Phoenix, which this is almost double in price. The Olight pen, also almost double in price, but both of these are USB rechargeable. So if you look, like with this one, I can unscrew this and recharge it. Same thing with the Phoenix. Further, while the Phoenix has the little teat that turns things on and off, it also has a lockout. See, if I hit it, it'll tell me it's locked out. If I get the double, now I'm back in the game. And if I hold it, I think it's going to go through. Yeah, I have to hold it to get it to come on. And then if I single press, it goes through the modes. And then if I hold it again, double click, puts it in lockout. This side button is really easy to accidentally hit in your pocket, and so I appreciate Phoenix doing that lockout thing that I mentioned, more expensive. Olight, their engagement button is on the tip, harder to hit, but also no carbide tip or glass breaker, if you will, on the O pen. So in terms of more features, the Phoenix wins over the Olight. This Atomic Bear pen, cheaper than both of those, has a flashlight, but near as I can tell, there is no lockout on this, so be really careful if you're going to get it. Let's see, is the pocket clip spinnyable? I don't think the pocket clip wants to move, at least not easily. So where this initiation / activation teat is pretty much where it is. I could probably do some forcing. It's not as overt or crazy looking as some tactical pens I've seen, so I'll give it marks for that. In general, guys, I am not the biggest fan of tops that you can't retain on pen. I wish that it had the provision to do that. Really kind of my only hit when it came to their Rebel, because it's got the same issue. It's a much more elegant looking pen, but no retention of that cap. So, I don't know, I'm having a hard time deciding where it fits in the grand scheme of things. Their Stealth pen has no light, has no extra features except for one. If you pop off the rubber cap, there's the glass breaker carbide tip. But without that, it looks relatively straightforward. You would have to look really, really hard to see the DNA collector here on the front, and it's bolt action, so I don't have some cap that needs to be retained otherwise. But all that aside, I only worry really about, I think, my additional little feature set here. You know, I don't hate it, I just wonder how useful it will be. Do you really need a bottle opener? Is that wrench going to be useful to you? I think the flathead screwdriver probably would, but you're not going to be able to do big tasks with it, only very small ones. So this might be something that I don't necessarily care about. Maybe looking at some of the other accessories that go in here instead of the default might be more your speed. I will try this out in a dark room and see what kind of light I can get from it. I'm assuming the output's probably pretty low. It's got, 3 button cells in here. Like I said, my real worry is that I accidentally activate this and then I just burn out the batteries. Overall, guys, I like this pen. I don't know that I love it. If I'm going to compare it versus the other 2 Atomic Bears that I've got in terms of raw usefulness and how often I carry them, the Stealth pen comes in number 1. Every time I travel, this goes with me. Like almost every time, the Stealth pen is my #1 jam. I rarely travel with the Rebel, quite honestly, and I rarely travel with it because of the ability or inability to retain the cap when you're using the pen, and it tends to have the possibility of scaring security officers a little bit more with that exposed tip. So that is maybe a problem. Interestingly enough, with this one, if you took off the bottle opener, screwed in the carbide tip like this, now the threatening component or the possible threatening look is legitimately gone. You could pocket this or not carry it as you see fit. Now I'm curious, will this retain? Probably still won't retain now. So you have that hit of not being able to retain the cap. So I still think this is probably my #1, but in terms of price versus what you get, this might be my #2. I really don't hate this one, guys. This has got its interesting quirks, and I don't know, let me know what you think about the additional like bottle opener, wrench, scraper, and screwdriver. Do you really feel that this is worth it, or do you think it's gimmicky? I'm kind of curious. Let me know in the comments. At some point, guys, I'm literally going to do a retrospective of all of the various tactical pens that I have picked up, why I picked them up, how long I use them for, and things like that. But I keep coming back to Atomic Bear, I really do, in terms of their price and in terms of their value that you get for that price. I think these guys are pretty hard to beat. I've seen some, quote, tactical pens that were over $100. This is kind of dating myself, but Surefire did a run of them back in the day, and they were kind of cool, but it was the same problem in that they were sort of overt. And man, I'd rather lose like a $20 or $30 pen than a $100+ pen. And the Atomic Bear pens tend to fall much more squarely into that lower end category of pricing, but yet what you get value-wise is pretty darn good. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. I am kind of curious. The tactical/survival pen, what's the actual designator? Sorry, the MTP-6 tactical pen. Not only does it come with spare refills for the pen, which writes nicely, comes with spare batteries too. That may be a nod to the possibility of you completely wrecking those batteries if you accidentally activate the light. I'll end this here, guys. I don't want to beat this up any further. It's a pen. It writes nicely like that. If you're actually going to use this for writing, I think you're good. If you need a very small light source, you don't need like 10 million lumens and 50,000 candela in a pinch, I think this will work for you. You're obviously not going to be doing area search or long time searches with this, because I really don't think the batteries are going to last that long. You know, is it gimmicky? Is it useful to you with its other features? I don't know. I'll end this here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I wasn't kidding. I will do like a retrospective of all those other pins at some point. But in the meantime, guys, all the YouTube stuff, the likes, the subscribes, they really help out. They're not going to make me a multimillionaire, but at the end of the day, they will make me feel better about myself. And, you know, that's really kind of the best thing I can get out of these things. Your interaction's always appreciated. Take care. Stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Get 'em, Jay.